All right, Saagar, what are you looking at?
Well, I know everybody, I'm sorry, another coronavirus monologue by Saagar, but I feel the issue is too important to let go. And as we move forward in our collective government media hysteria, the worst pathologies of our civil discourse are being revealed for what they are. My emotions have been high, admittedly, as I literally live in the epicenter of the madness. But what I've tried to convey to you guys so many times is that while you may not live in a large urban area, is that the whims and the tastes and the opinions of the people who live in urban megacities are the ones you should worry about the most because they govern the entire country. That's why when I saw a clip from CNN's Don Lemon finally just saying the quiet part out loud, I really started to worry because I secretly I know this is the inclination of most elite liberals.
I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people are not going to agree with this, but don't get the vaccine, you can't go to the supermarket. Don't have the vaccine, you don't show it, can't go to the ball game. Don't have the vaccine, can't go to work. You don't have the vaccine, can't come here. No shirt, no shoes, no service. That's where I think we should be right now, because we continue to waste our breath on people who are just not going to change. They're, circular logic. They just keep going back and saying, well, it's my freedom, it's whatever, I'm free. Well, your kid's not free to give other kids meningitis in schools. You got to take a vaccine to do that. You got to take vaccines in order to be employed. So what is the big deal? And all these people are saying, I don't want to put this stuff in my body. They're out drinking on the weekend and putting other substances in their bodies. That's way worse for them than a vaccine. So come on, let's be real.
There's a lot to consider there. Maybe you agree with Don Lemon. The Israeli and French governments essentially adopted that policy. And to be fair, it did increase vaccine uptake in those countries. But more what struck me is the callousness towards the unvaccinated, largely because it seems that a huge canard has taken hold of a lot of these people. They are assuming the only group of people in America who are not vaccinated are white Republican Trump supporters. And yet, as we have been saying, till we're blue in the face, the real situation is a lot more complicated. Of the 30% or more of US adult population who has not yet received a single dose of the COVID vaccine, there are basically two distinct groups. So let's take a look. One group says no way, no matter what, we're getting this shot. This group is disproportionately more likely to be white, rural, evangelical Christian, politically conservative. But there's a second group. Those are what we call wait-and-see Americans. They tend to disproportionately be younger, black, Latino, and even politically identify as Democrats. So think back to what Don Lemon is saying. Let's just mandate vaccines to live everyday life. Because he is not smart, what he doesn't realize is that in the places where he actually lives, like New York City, those around him who are unvaccinated are most likely to be black, Hispanic, a Democrat, or a young person. Exactly the type he claims to speak on behalf of all of the time. Exactly the constituency he supposedly cares about. So let's dig into that population. Those people on the fence. The idea behind Don Lemon's little speech is that this is the only thing that will work, right? Yeah, it's actually completely wrong. Go to the Kaiser Family Foundation's most recent survey of unvaccinated Americans and their attitudes. Of all unvaccinated Americans, including the second group of Americans who say they're open to the shot, 31% say they will do so if full FDA approval comes. 23% say a vaccine lottery of $1 million would work. 17% say a mobile vaccine clinic would change their mind. 13% say free childcare to help them deal in case of side effects would help them. In other words, making it easier, giving people an incentive to get the shot. Now let's look at the mandates. Let's see how they feel. The number one reason why people aren't vaccinated is obvious. They think it's too new. For others, they're worried about the side effects. They simply just don't want to do it. My point is this, they don't trust the government. So any government vaccine mandate is almost certain to harden people's unwillingness. But okay, as many people said, don't let the government do it, make it a workplace thing or a private enforcement. Once again, thanks to the Kaiser Family Foundation, we know what would happen. If an employer required an unvaccinated American to take the vaccine, 42% of people said they would suck it up and do it. So in the short term, you would see an uptick. But more than half of the rest of the respondents said no. I would literally leave my job. So then consider the situation. We have a group of people who don't trust the government, who would leave their job if required to get a vaccine, and who then are barred from most public places of public gathering. But the enforcement would also be at the state level, because we live in America, and you simply can't do this on the federal level in this country. We would have a mass underclass of unvaccinated Americans, even more disconnected from society. We would have no connections to their life to encourage them to do anything. Can you think of a worse policy than what Lemon is advocating? All of this for a disease where if you're fully vaccinated, you have a 99.999% chance of not dying from COVID and a 99.996% chance of not being hospitalized. Sheer insanity. The reality, like with all things in America, is we're all in this together. Lots of people of lots of stripes and parties don't trust our institutions. It's probably the biggest problem we face as a society. And instead of a callous disregard for that lack of trust, or even trying to understand, which is what Lemon's entire job is, he's giving a sanctimonious speech on cable TV to advance the culture wars. If you ask me, that's the real cancer. It's what really should be banned if we have a chance of actually making it out of this thing. Crystal, I went deep into the data here.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it, you get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.